Welcome to Wilameana's World podcast, where culture, music, hot topics, business, and beyond collide. I'm your host, Wilameana Jones, inviting you to join me on this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop with our latest episode releases. Hey, what's good? It's your girl, Wilameana Jones, checking in for another exclusive episode of Wilameana's World. And I have a special guest I'm so excited to talk to. Can you please introduce yourself for the people that don't know you?
Thank you for having me. Cheers to that.
Yes,
oh
absolutely.
My goodness.
Cheers to success.
Yes, to success. And this great podcast.
Absolutely. So tell me about your journey. How did you get into doing what you do?
Okay, so I'm living in Houston, Texas. I'm working at this boot camp facility. There was like back in the 80s and 90s, there were talk shows that would send these girls that were like the troubled youth, and they would send them off to these boot camps. You remember that? Mm-hmm. And like Jenny Jones, Ricky Lake, and then there was this one place in Texas that I worked at where they would live on the farm, take care of horses, and they had a really hard, structured place. And so I'm working for them, and literally there was a young girl that stormed out of the clinical psychologist's office. She might have been in her 20s, and the psychologist comes to me. I'm the rehab counselor, so I am making $30K, she's making $90K. She comes to me and she says, Tasha, can you go and see Amy? You know, you're the only one that can really get through to these girls. And that was the moment. I'm like, even the psychologist knows that she sees my worth. And so I just went back to school. I was 29 years old, and I went to get my doctorate in clinical psychology in Berkeley.
Okay, so what actually inspired you beyond that before, like you said, you were...
versus that moment.
Okay, what inspires you actually to get into...
I get what you're saying. So I love helping people to not have to be fine. Because you know how every time we see people, how you doing? I'm fine. We're not. You're not fine. You're not. And so for me, I want to put you on the couch, and you don't have to be fine for this hour. And then the truth is, how are you going to show up raw in front of me? And that's the place that I can do something with. Mm-hmm. And then they get to know themselves, right? So because you like slowly strip away all of the masks and get naked.
I was gonna say, so what do you mean exactly when you say you talk to them and you say get raw, get naked, like?
So for instance, right, you're about to get intimate, right, with your honey, whoever your honey is, and some of y'all keep your socks on. You do, right? Because you don't want nobody to see what you didn't get. Some of y'all keep a t-shirt on and you keep the lights off because you don't want them to see your stretch marks, right? Because you're not so confident about this. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, how intimately connected can you ever be with someone if you are hiding behind? Mm-hmm. And so for me, getting naked, obviously, figuratively, right? I want you to literally like take away whatever that is of how you think you have to show up to the world. And then let's do something different in this office.
Come in straight raw.
Yeah, I need you to be raw. Yeah, yes. You know a little something about being raw. Okay. Yeah, no, it's the best thing. Even, you know, my favorite thing is when they say, man, I just feel lighter. That's like that's like music to my ears.
Okay.
Because you come in so heavy.
Yeah. How do you build that trust with your clients?
Oh, that's a good one. Because a lot of brown folks don't want to
get naked.
No
one come raw.
Even though we look alike, but the truth is they were not taught this, so it's already uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. So I would say being consistent. That's the best way to say it. Being consistent. I really have a pure heart, so as much as I can get very direct, because I speak to men, women, couples, families, and I talk to them, right? But I don't talk at them. And I don't use all that intellectual jargon that I learned in school. I actually want to match where you are. When in terms of your vocabulary, the different things that you do understand. I might add a little crumbs of what I learned in school, but I need to also be tapped in to the source, right, at some point, and give you what you actually need, not what I read.
Right, and it feels like they could come into you and it's just a no judgment zone.
Yes,
because I think that's why people are scared to really get raw, because they're scared to be vulnerable and just get deep, especially if it's like, you know, they're just meeting you. Like,
for the first time.
How can I just get raw and just tell you everything? And I think, what do you say? The more raw they get, the more better, like, their treatment
Meaning the way they'll see the treatment or the therapy or the coaching?
Yeah, because I don't know if I would be just so open as soon as I would go and speak to somebody to say, hey, this is me, you know.
So you wouldn't be, right? And you shouldn't be if the way that you normally show up in the world is that way. But the truth is, within about 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to realize that, like, oh, wow, it's not exactly what I thought. So you were more intimidated in your head. You kind of probably did a little bit of overthinking. I call it thinking about. Hello. Right? And so for you, by the time you came inside, it was, what am I going to say? And it's like, you actually don't have to come in with all these bullet points. You can actually just be the client or the patient and receive this, which is very difficult when you're always used to running stuff. Now, this is an interesting thing about why I call my business drive-by therapy. So I'm working with this pimp in Los Angeles. It was the craziest thing. It's like 2013, and I'm 20. No, I'm in my head I was 20. I was 32, clearly. I was 32 years old, and he said something about something. I don't remember specifically what he said, but whatever he said made me think, oh, wow. And I said, you need somebody this many days of the week? And I was like, wow, you have really low self-esteem. So imagine this player, you know, from the everywhere, and got all type of folks in different area codes, and I'm gonna tell him that he has low self-esteem. But the truth is, why do you need this many people to validate you? Right? And where did it come from? And within about maybe 12 minutes, right, of me saying that statement, I then realized, from once he shared a little bit about his history, is his mother left when he was 3 years old. So the idea of wanting a woman to accept him, hello. So if you're in control of, which is his profession that he decided, right? He doesn't have to wonder if you're gonna accept, he's gonna make you, because it's a need for him. But his need showed me that he is lacking it. To get it?
Yes.
Right? No matter how he shows up in the world, everybody else is scared or thinks that he's hot stuff. And I'm like, oh, wow, he has really low self-esteem.
Wow.
And we got to do work around that. But it's because I was able to, like, penetrate the core of his issue, which is what the drive-by experience is.
Yes, tell me about that. So you have a different approach. I've heard about the drive-by therapy. And then I've also heard about some type of foot therapy. You know, Warwick was mentioning something. He said when he met you,
oh, I pray for people. I pray for
he
people's
said he ain't
feet.
seen that since Jesus hadn't came back.
Oh, did he say that?
Yes,
we
he
love
did.
some work. Come on, MUA.
Yes, shout out to Warwick.
Yes, shout out to work. Okay, so he is doing this wonderful, renowned artist, recording artist, her makeup, and she had already asked me to come to the house because of an event that she was about to do, and I just came to pray for her. And so I pray for people's feet. You know, if on the way out, I can pray for your feet. So I like to pray for where you're going, not where you are.
Woo! That's powerful.
So I don't know if I would call it actual therapy. It's actually the spiritual side of how I like to lay hands. You know?
Okay.
And so I literally, some people may say, like, you're really gonna get on the floor? And I'm like, yeah, I like to stay low, period. A lot of times people will keep you here and you gotta remain low on purpose. And so that is where that comes from.
Okay, cool. And the drive-by, though, you said you were out there with the gangsters and stuff
Oh,
in
yes,
LA.
I like my young thugs, my gangbangers, no matter what color they are they're representing.
How did you get to working with them? And then you said somebody was like, I like how you just drove by, and then that's kind of how you got the concept?
Yes. So I'm living in California. I got the I'm living in Oakland, and my doctorate was in Berkeley, and then I moved to LA. And so no matter what, Cali, we already know what Cali does, right? And so at some point, whenever you work with killers or batterers or people that sometimes people judge, let's just call it what it is, right? If you get to know their real story, you might learn to stop judging how they got there, right? And so once I'm talking to you like this, you're like, oh, wow, I can tell you're seeing through me. And so as you're feeling that, but then you don't feel the judgment, then they're saying that because it feels like I'm getting to their core, that's the drive-by feeling. Because the right drive-by in the streets should be that you take care of it like in one or two kind of hits. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like
You
that
like that?
concept. I like that. I never actually heard of that, and I think that's so needed because sometimes, you know, you can have moments where it's like, okay, I'm about to spaz. And if you could actually call.
Imagine to come and see about you. Now,
You got you something with that one, girl. Like,
Okay.
Let me take a cheers.
Okay, that's a cheers.
That's a
Okay, we doing
cheers
two,
to
round
that.
two.
Cheers for the drive-by,
Okay.
yeah.
Hello, drive by. It came to me, and I appreciate it. People need to be seen in the world.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest issues that men have on my couch is that they don't feel heard.
Wow.
So
you hear that often about men.
For sure. So a lot of times women will always say how they don't talk or don't express themselves. If you would shut up, you'd be surprised what would happen.
You could actually hear that
What?
man.
Because and I'm saying we because I am a woman, we interrupt them while they're talking and they can't stand it. Do you understand? They can't stand it. Why do we need to help them finish a sentence? What kind of brother did you pick that can't finish his own sentences? But we're so like caught up in what we're thinking he should say that he literally shuts down and doesn't talk anymore. And then we say, he's not talking to me. Well, he tried the first 12 minutes.
But you wasn't
But
listening.
you kept, okay.
So then that's how sometimes they end up with a little side in a...
Somebody to acknowledge him. I really believe that. There's no justification to find the side piece. But most times, I've literally, you know a little something.
Oh, okay.
I literally have said that. That's one of the biggest reasons that a lot of people have affairs. They just want to be acknowledged for free.
So you're saying basically, do you think when they have that, it's just for the need of comfort, or does that stem from a place of
Meaning, why
low
do people
self-esteem?
cheat?
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that women cheat more than men.
Hey.
So when you just said side chicks, and we just keep assuming that the men are cheating.
Now
we cheat
whose
more
side
than
are
them.
you on?
I know. I promise that she's down there. She's there. But it's true, and so we don't get caught.
Really?
Yeah, we just don't get caught. So when they got statistics that say men cheat more than this versus women, and it's like, well, because you don't know our stats, because you don't know that I'm doing your brother.
Right. So the women know how to cover it up a little bit.
Women, yes, and this is years, and we just don't get caught. So it's not just the side pieces are both men, women, women, men, all the
And
above.
I think it probably goes both ways. Women cheat because they're not getting that attention that they need, or not feeling seen or heard.
Or they're high school sweethearts that in the last 15, 20 years, they've been with each other and they've been with one. And they keep hearing the girlfriends talk about what Leroy did and what Corey did at the brunch, and their husband ain't never done that, but they've known each other since they were 18. So I'm now interested in
Curiosity.
Okay. So it's not just attention, it's because it's almost like a curiosity because you've been with the same person, long-term relationships. Right? A lot of affairs happen from people that have been together a very, very long time. It sounds beautiful, 20, 40 years, I get it. But how many affairs have we? Not boring, just if you are a person that feels like you're missing out on something, right? What is it called? The fear of missing out, the FOMO? You got a little FOMO? If you got a little FOMO, then you're wondering what you're missing from what they're saying.
So do you find in couples being divorced that's a number one reason, or is it
No, because everybody's cheating. It's too common. That is not the number one. It would be more about like
financial,
money. So parenting, sex, and money are three reasons why most people get divorced, right? So the way we handle money, some people want to build wealth and some people don't want to grow. Can y'all imagine this exists? I remember this husband said something, fiance, he was a fiance. And his woman was like, he always just wants me to read books, work out. I'm talking about, she was out of breath being mad and salty. And she was like, I just don't want to grow. And this is what I said.
Wow.
Sir, did you hear your woman on the same couch? Like, so are we really mad at her or we mad at you? Because she is making it loud and clear that she doesn't want to better herself. You want to. So even that alone, could you imagine? So he wanted to build wealth and all of that. So the way they saw money, the way they saw the future was different. Sometimes while dating, I'll say, a lot of things are written on the walls of how incompatible we are. But we want what we want. Right? That's for both sides.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what do you think are some of the common misconceptions about therapy and why our people don't really like to go to therapy?
So we do. That's a myth that's like, we gotta do away with that. We do.
We do.
West
It's
Indians
a lot more.
Way more. Like West Indians, a lot of people think, oh, in the Caribbean, we don't do that. It is true. In your family, it's possible, if you grew up in a Jamaican household, Trini household, Haitian household, that your feelings didn't matter. That might be true, right? Because how sad are you? Do you know what I had to do to get here? Like, right? So you have no feelings, even though you have real feelings, so they are dismissed. However, you, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, are now going and coming to people like me, and maybe your parents aren't, but you can finally talk about that your feelings matter, and you can feel what it's like to feel received by someone, that they believe what happened to you, versus dismiss it. A lot of people, like I know Taraji P. Henson has her own foundation. I know in the NFL, I work with the Dolphins and I work with the retired athletes. They will go on. I just did this thing with Ray Rice, who we all know what happened, right? At the elevator, and he literally talks about how to manage your anger. It sounds like, how could he be the one? It's like, no, because he did the work. That's why. And so the point is, it's like a lot of people that are have status are talking about it out loud and not ashamed of it. And so it's not as unheard of as it used to be.
Right, that's true. That's true. So how would you help someone like myself that I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of I'm a big overthinker, and I find that sometimes, you know, I can self-sabotage when I get in situations. So I don't think I'm alone with that. I think a lot of people suffer with overthinking, and I'm talking about I don't have to know exactly what happened, but I will make a whole scenario in my head. Oh, she's writing notes to everybody. But I will make a whole scenario of what happened. It might not have happened like that at all, but I'm just being raw and naked with you right now.
I love this. So you ready to have a little drive-by therapy?
Yeah, let me get
experience? Okay, here we are. So, number one, what you're describing is a form of anxiety that is called catastrophizing, right? So it is a catastrophe in your head because it happened, right? So, for instance, what is your trigger? For me, it used to be if I got a flat tire, right? So I got a flat tire. I don't know if I have 75. I remember this when I was getting my degree. As a student, broke student, you know, regular. I got a flat tire. I'm in Oakland trying to do a parallel parking. I needed to get to work. I got a flat tire. I then said, oh my God, what if I don't have the money? What if I don't get to work on time? If I don't get to work on time, then I will lose my job. When I lose my job, how will I afford my rent? If I can't afford rent, how am I going to go to school? If I can't go to school, will I ever get the degree? And I put everything on the line to get this degree.
You would take us
from one flat tire, right?
You know
I done lost my job. I lost my degree. So that's called catastrophizing.
You know my life.
I do.
Oh, okay.
I'm here. Now, I'm in recovery, though, because I try to do something about it. Now, let's describe why you're this way. So you have a fear of the future because you're probably a little bit of a control freak, right? And so once... okay.
Oh, okay.
Is it time to take up an offering? Is it... okay. The doors of the church are open? Okay, here we are. So... when you are a control freak, right, and you're amongst many, right, everybody they're having a head nod moment right now while they're driving or listening to this, and so you literally don't really trust much. So that's a whole nother problem.
Let me get a little more comfortable.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You need to put your head. Okay, you okay?
I'm getting it.
She's here.
Okay.
And so in your mind, you probably want to work on. So it's not let me work on not overthinking. It's let me work on when I start to catastrophize to create the way that I talk to myself differently. So you're unfortunately good at negative self-talk. You have mastered it, which is why the catastrophizing happens, right? So imagine if you, which is called find a reality test and find out that you're actually okay. So my flat tire, I'm on the side of this curb in Oakland. I have a flat tire. I do have $75 to get a new tire. I actually have AAA, or I know somebody. I can call somebody. My phone works. Am I okay? Can I call my job to say I'm going to be 30 minutes late because of my flat tire? So I'm now doing a reality testing to bring myself down before I even become...
spiral.
Right. I call it the Tasmanian devil, the Sonic the Hedgehog for my 80s folks, right? So you literally, something happens and you go all the way here because of your negative self-talk. Once you start having some level of positive self-talk or a baseline of, I am actually okay, all that I just thought of has not happened yet.
Right.
In this moment. So then we come back to the spiral that actually is you sitting in two-footed, I call it this two-footed stance, kind of like the gymnasts that are like, ta-da, right? Like Olympics coming up in Paris. It's a real thing, meaning I can stand here, even if I'm like sad and struggling, but I can stand two-footed on the ground. Versus when you start wobbling, right? Because that's what happens when you start having this negative self-talk. You are literally imbalanced. You are forgetful. You done forgot your keys. You done forgot your wallet. You done forgot who to call. All this is happening because you're now, and it's like, actually, I'm actually okay right now. I have a way to get out of this. I am smart, right? You got to go into all of that. I can figure this out. let me call someone. It sounds like it's easy, but I don't want to make it sound like it's simple. It's not easy, but it is simple. Because you have to slow yourself down.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, because sometimes my mind would just go
a mile a minute.
Yeah, and it'll create a scenario. It's kind of like, okay, say you call somebody and they don't pick up the phone and they gonna say they was asleep, right?
Oh.
So you like, oh, so you was just asleep at 8 o'clock.
So you already don't trust what they say.
So then that means in my mind, I could come up with a million things of what they were doing when they said they was asleep.
Tell me this. Why do you not believe people, first of all? Do you know why?
Do you see how people move these days?
Maybe, but do you trust yourself?
I do.
You sure?
I do.
Okay, so if you are this 100% trustworthy person, do you think there's others in the world like you, or are you the only, like, fantastic one?
No, I believe, you know.
Right, so who you chose to, like, attach yourself to, can they also be trustworthy? Because the real question is, why you attach to folks that you can't trust what they're saying?
Can I take another sip?
You can. But that's how deep it goes, right? Because the point of it is why did I not believe that they were asleep? Versus like, oh my God, are you okay?
You see what I'm saying?
Right, but they may not be okay, that they overslept. And then there's a whole, you're not going to like this word. This is the new N word in the world. Okay, you ready for the N word?
I'm ready.
Narcissistic traits. This has to do with, are you so self-absorbed that you don't see the other? And this is the thing. Not because you're so like spoiled brat or anything, like even getting to know you. I didn't get any of that. Like, oh, this is going to be my last time getting to know her. She's so entitled. I don't feel that from you at all. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we can be so consumed with our own agenda that we forgot to ask the person, how are you doing? Ooh. And that's a narcissistic trait that we have to let go. Like we can't move like that because you wanted somebody to ask you how you were doing when you walked in. So how does this relationship become one-sided? We all are guilty. But what you have to learn sometimes is like, hey, you want some more? Because you know what I mean? Like, I see you kind of low. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm in the middle of the interview, and this is your podcast, but you're a little low. Let me get you right. Right? Because the point is, it's not just about me. Because I need you to be good for then us and this interview to be good. That's that we part of really some real African stuff that I like to talk about a little bit. Sometimes we forget about the history of who we really are, no matter what island, state, country you actually live in. To be black is to be collectivistic, is to care about the other. To all this like Eurocentric ideas of being individualistic and worrying about yourself is not what we come from.
Right. Come from community.
We do.
Being together.
But we've been here so daggone long that we are becoming less African. And we are only thinking about ourselves because we're so daggone successful. I am. What's your we in your life? You know what I mean? Like, what's your we? Right? Who cares about your I? Like, what's your we? And like, that is the moment where I'm like, oh yes, that was everything. When you remember that it's not just about you.
Yes, I ain't gonna lie, you got me together. I see H2 over there enjoying himself about it.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yes. So,
but I didn't talk about the sabotage part.
Okay, I was gonna try to skip over that if you had forgot.
It's fine. But I'm here for it. That's why we have our clipboard. We came a long way with this pen. Okay, he came through for me.
Yeah.
Okay, and so to sabotage sometimes, right, is a possibility that you may be afraid of success, right? Let's say subconsciously, because obviously you're a successful woman, but I wonder if you actually know how to like launch from here. Right? Sometimes we start from the bottom and we forever got that rap song in our head, right? But then what about when you just start from the rooftop? Like, who's having that song? Like, what if you actually are established and we're starting from here? Like, where's that song? Because I want to listen to that one, right? So we worked hard to get here, right? But now we're actually in the penthouse, and how do we then still thrive without making sure that we water ourselves down, right? Because we got that whole thing, right? Because you don't want to be too cute.
Right. You got to
stay humble. Heaven forbid. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the sabotage at times is actually a place of being fearful of success. So you don't have a problem trying, obviously, right? We on our 10th episode right here. So you will try, but you might do a few things along the way where it still doesn't take off. And that might be subconscious. And that would be the work that you would sit down with a coach or therapist or psychologist.
Yes.
to do that work. Like, why do I always get like right there on the edge? Or why do I always help everybody else get great? Why is that comfortable for me? Right? There are people that are fully background folks. Like, they like, I'm good, I'm not in the front line. But if you actually see yourself being next to Tamron Hall, then why we still talking about? Hello?
Correct.
Is the mic on, or is the
It's
sound?
on.
Is
It's
the sound
on.
industry get my mic together?
It's
okay.
on.
Okay.
It's on.
All right, just making sure.
Yes.
We're here for it.
You are reading me for filth right now.
Oh, it's okay.
Live, and I love it.
Okay.
Because it's needed.
I appreciate you being open. So that's the part of being completely naked. You got here within about 20 minutes.
That's what's up. Because now it's certain things that you know. And I think that's the benefits of getting that help, or
Yes.
having someone to talk to. Because
That you trust,
somebody
yep.
that you trust.
And it's a good fit.
And it's a good fit.
Okay.
That's very important too.
Now we can do the work.
Yes. Because honestly, when I first tried to do therapy, I was turned off because I went to a white male. And I literally went to one session and I said, I don't have anything in common with this person. How is he supposed to give me, a young black woman, some advice? And it just...
Do you remember feeling like you wanted to go the first time you went? Like, you actually were like, I'm looking forward to this experience, and then you were let down?
Actually, I was not looking forward to it. So then when I did...
Why did you go? Somebody told you should go?
Yes.
So already you were not being authentic. So it's a big deal to be authentic, because you would have never shown up even if it was a black woman. I get that the white man didn't help pull down your walls, but we can't do these things of, you know how people tell you what you should do? I can't stand a should. Don't tell me what I should do.
Please
Not
tell
in
me.
life, because you ain't never lived my life. Not a half a day, right? And so you can make
Right.
suggestions, right? But don't tell me what I should do, because if you are an impressionable person, you will go along, your whole life will be what everybody else told you you should
do.
And then you're not showing up authentically in what you know to be you.
Right.
So whenever you're ready, I have plenty of colleagues. Obviously, if anybody is ever interested in, even in this conversation, it's like, oh man, I want to do my work. You could call, call this actual phone number once you get it on the contact under my website. But like, that's my real information, and you'll literally hear from me, not an assistant, because I like to authentically show up for those that call me, right? I don't want it to be somebody else. But the truth of the matter is, even if you don't call me, call somebody if there's something that revved up in you to say, man, I've been wanting to do this for years, and she just hit on something. Don't let something resonate too long, because it will literally go back to being dormant.
Do you take insurance, though, is the question?
I don't, but I do. For me, I make my services affordable. So my services are $120 for singles, individual, and $150 for couples.
Okay.
And a lot of people that have my degree charge between $175 and $300
This per session?
per session.
Okay. Cool.
And so we may meet once a month. We don't have to meet every week. We can meet every 3 months. But the truth is, if you don't get your hair done, right, and stop getting extra glue to put down that lace front, that is also $150.
It's gonna lift.
Right? Or the
Yeah.
braids, how much do braids cost, right? So
Right.
let's fix what's in your head and not stop putting money towards what's on our head.
You are getting to it, honey.
But it's crazy when you
No,
think
because
about
people
it. You
need to
actually
hear
have
that.
the money. You don't
Right.
prioritize your mental health over your beauty. But there's a reason why it's taking you this much money to make you feel good about yourself. It's because you don't actually like you on the inside. So it wouldn't matter how long your lashes are. Right? Oh no, I wasn't coming for you with that one. I wasn't. That wasn't on you, I promise. But it's true, right? Could you imagine just
Right.
liking your eyes and then the eyelashes enhance? But if you already don't like your whole face, it ain't no makeup artist that gonna get you to like you. That's the part that come here. And then you'd be surprised with some things you don't even care about anymore. You're not wearing ponytails talking about, and this is me, without always having to be whatever. And that's just for women. But the same is for men. You know what I mean? Like, they may have to feel like they have to look a certain way, that their fit has to be ironed a certain way, or nobody will talk to them because they're whatever height, or what, right? Because it's a whole thing of, if you're not 6 foot, then something's wrong. Really? No, nothing's wrong with you, sir. Right? But if you don't show up confidently, I don't actually like you. I don't not like you because you're 5'9". I don't like you because you walking with your shoulder.
Confidence.
Okay. But who told you
Right.
something was wrong with you? So let's work on that part. Let's work on body image. Men have body image issues too. We got folks that's like adding in 6-packs. Y'all seen this craziness on?
Yes.
How much is a 6-pack on the table? We paying for 6-packs on the table. So the point is, imagine if we did some work in here, then we may not have to spend all this money out there.
But see, they don't teach us that, or it's kind of like, I think mental health is as important, like you saying, with your personal maintenance, right? But we go to the doctor. We go to the dentist.
Yep.
We go get everything checked up, but people don't think that
Yeah.
they
it's
need
like
to
this
work
extra
on their,
luxurious thing when it is equal to. Yeah.
So important. What would you say about prescription medication for anxiety, depression, or do you think you should just smoke weed?
Oh, is that the only other option? Just
I don't know. I mean, I'm just putting it out there, like,
marijuana for medicinal purposes is not a problem.
for who purposes?
Medicinal, that's the word for medicine. Medicinal,
Okay.
right? That's the way that we use it, right? And so even living in California, it really is a thing where obviously there's plenty of dispensaries. You got all the Rice Krispie treats, brownies. It could be in your butter, your Gatorade. Like it's on in all the things that you use on a regular day. And so for me, it's the moment that you say, I need to smoke weed to go to sleep. There's something about the need part. And that's the same for I need a glass of wine, right? I need to, like, it's the need word versus like, this helps me balance out. But if you get too dependent on anything, it's a problem.
Right.
So that's to answer your question. In terms of medication, of like going to the psychiatrist, like go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can help you with your ADHD, sir, or we can help you with your imbalanced emotions and your outbursts. But it's possible that we might need to level you out by like 10 a.m. so you can keep this job, right? And that's okay. But then also come and talk to me about what is coming up for you.
Okay, so you do suggest people that are feeling anxious or depressed that they do take medication?
Yeah, if they want to. But now remember that you want to be monitored, like your dosage.
Because it's supposed to be like the serotonin. It's supposed to balance.
Look at you.
Right.
Okay, with your chemical words. I love it. Yes,
Right.
absolutely. It's all of the different lovely hormones are here to hopefully help us balance out. If they're imbalanced, we're going to acknowledge like, man, by 6 p.m. every night, I always get angry, right? By 12 o'clock, I'm actually not hungry. I just want to, drink another coffee. Like there is something there. Or
my period's going to come on and now
my cycle's coming on. Yeah.
Want to kill everyone.
Possibly. That sounded a little personal. Or was that?
Oh, no, I'm just hypothetically.
Oh, hypothetically. So the truth of the matter is, ladies, with your cycles, you really should be aware and not think of it as this excuse that everybody got to walk around on eggshells because you on your cycle for 3 to 7 days.
Right.
Right.
But there is
it
that
does happen.
imbalance.
Right, but I don't know if I'm saying if that person happens if they need medication. That person may need to smoke. That person may need to get a glass of red wine, right, to thin out their blood so they're not even clotting as much. Red wine, just red wine. It'll sometimes even lower your dosage of the diabetic medicine. Like there's a lot of different things that are natural that are okay, but it's the need
How can
word.
you naturally balance these emotions then?
Anxiety and depression? So there's a 3-letter word I'm just going to use right now. Take a nap. Okay? Just take a nap. You know what I mean? We're doing too
taking
much.
a nap makes me feel better.
I believe you. Now,
No,
did I
it
know
does.
that? I didn't know that. But even if it's
Seriously.
15 minutes, you know why? Because you slowed your mind down. The racing that you talked about earlier. I tell people all the time, don't let that hospital bed be the only time that you actually slow down. And I know y'all know somebody like that. They so busy that you're like, oh my God, they're in the hospital right now. Not because of a car accident, but because literally their body shut down days. Like there were moments of like, it's almost like the gas light came on in your car, right? You got all these things in the dashboard, the lights are coming on and you're just like, let me go one more day and not take care of myself. Let me go one more day and not drink water. Let me go one more day and only once a day talking about I don't have the time because I'm so busy. You that busy that you trying to die slowly? Like you don't get points for that.
Now
Like,
you
sit
burnt
down.
out.
Now you burnt out. Now whoever it is, right? Spouse, co-worker, your child is tired of your mouth. Because of what? Because you couldn't sit down somewhere? You weren't important enough to take a 15-minute nap? That sucks. Like how much do you love yourself if you don't stop? So it's a
take
lot
a
of
moment
people.
to pause.
Just take
every
a
now
moment.
And, then.
And so that's a very natural way. You know, busy is it's overrated. I'm so over that word. I hate that word actually because we are our priorities. You know, you can actually say no, I can't. Learn the word no. Say no.
No.
Say it again.
No.
Right? It's a thing. But you got to practice it sometimes because you're trying to be something for everybody
For
else.
everybody. You know me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Get
Okay.
out
okay.
of my
Okay.
Get out of my teeth.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yes. Yeah, so you have been dropping gem after gem, honey.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to know, how do you work with clients to develop healthy coping mechanisms?
So that's a great question. Because one, you have to first be open to want to change, because that's the whole point, to learn how to cope, meaning what I'm doing is not working, right? To acknowledge that first. So that once you have that mentality, then I can do the work and help you to actually find out what stage are you in. So where are you stuck? Where have you been stuck and why? And then how do we get you unstuck? For instance, let's use grief, right? So there's 5 stages of grief. I kind of think there's like 5.5, but the idea is some people they stop right at how they found out. That ain't even a stage, but that's the stage that I like to call it. Like, they remember the phone call, they remember the RIP over Facebook, the RIP on Instagram, they remember seeing it on television, they remember walking in and seeing what they saw. That person never forgets how they found out. Some people stay right there, right? They stay stuck there for years and they're mad, and then they go into an anger place, right? And so anger is a real place, but sometimes it could be sadness. A lot of people don't realize that anger, so you have to identify where your stage is first, right, to know how to cope. So right now you're coping with life and you're angry about it, right? But you're really depressed or sad, you're just externalizing the sadness. See, for me, I'm a person that likes to be mad way more than being sad. What are you? Sad or mad? Which feels more comfortable?
Mad.
Mad? So we do mad better because it feels better to externalize versus, remember you asked me earlier, oh, you don't internalize? No, I don't want it. I don't want to stay within me. I want to get it out, which is where the anger goes, right? Is it healthy? No, right? But it does feel better because we can put it back on you versus for us to feel it. Now, the balance of the coping is to make sure that instead of staying in the sadness and ruminating in the past, that's what that means, right? Ruminating means drowning in, dwelling in. That's what true depression is. So we got anger, sign of grief. We got sadness or depression, which is the sign of staying in the past. How you found out, denial, right? I know plenty of times that people, when someone passes away or when someone they get in a breakup, they literally are still looking at their phone to see if they didn't call, right? And there's sometimes like driving by because they're still in denial that it's over. Like if you're still checking for what was, then you're actually still in a little bit of denial that it even happened. It's deep. And then there's like a bargaining thing of why did this happen to me? So now you're salty that it happened to you. So you're not even mad at like it. You're mad at God. You're wishing that it happened differently. Because why would you do me like this when this person over here deserves it? Well, you don't get to dictate nobody's whatever happens with their life. So the coping skill would be to accept, that's the ultimate, that I cannot change any of this. I cannot control what I cannot control. And then I can do my very best and show up differently than I was yesterday.
Woo! You done drove by here. I'm going to tell you, you done drove by. You done drove by. Sissy done drove by.
I appreciate that.
I love it. I love everything in it. I could keep going on and on. I really enjoyed this conversation thoroughly. Because even what you're saying, too, as far as like grieving, that can be, losing someone just in any form, not just death,
Divorce,
a relationship,
a
breakup, a friendship. Yeah, so listen, I need you to go ahead and tell the people where they can follow you, find you, and where you could drive by on them, in case
I sure
they need you to
appreciate
pull
it.
up.
Yeah, I do. I don't mind pulling up. So I am in South Florida, but I literally talk to anybody around the world, right? So I talk to people in Senegal, in London, in Singapore, in California, in Chicago, in DC. And so all you have to do is go on my website, drivebytherapy.org. And so when you do, you're going to fill out the little contact, and then I'm going to reach out to you. If you want me to come to your corporation and talk to like your entire department, or maybe your school, if you're a principal, and talk to all your teachers because they're not getting along since blah, blah, blah happened, right? It's a real thing sometimes when you can evaluate as a leader, oh, I actually need help. If you need some professional development, I don't mind that.
You said sports too.
Oh, absolutely. So athletes, retired athletes, just folks, you know what I mean? No matter what your status is, you know how you're doing. when nobody is around. And so when you reach out, give me about 2-3 months to meet with you, because I'm always booked about 2 to 3 months out. And then from there, you'll be my regular patient. And I look forward to working with you. If you do not reach out, because this is what happens. You're going to think about this right now for the next year, and you can still reach out in a year. You can still reach out in 5 years. I don't care if we say, remember in 2024, you said this with Empress? I do. Now you ready to do some work, right? Because for forever, we want to do it ourselves because we're so self-sufficient. We're smart, right? We're so intelligent, we don't need anybody. Well, that level of pride has to die, sir and ma'am, okay? It's just got to die, and it's okay to just say, I need some help, because that's the whole point of why I did this. It don't have to take long. We can get there together. And so thank you for having me and letting me sit on your platform.
Absolutely. And can I have a cheers for success
Oh,
for you just
all day.
being
Let me, I'm going to finish this.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. And shout out to your intern.
Oh, yes, expensive. I didn't
Yes.
She's going into her 3rd year. And yes, she's going to be a clinical psychologist for athletes.
Cheers to her.
Cheers to her.
Absolutely. And shout out to Sheba Billionaire, H2 Creative Concepts, and All Like Minds Media. And of course, our sponsors, Official Bel Air. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow me at Empress Raw. And thank you so much for coming to another episode of Wilameana's World.
Oh, thank you for having me. Oh.
See y'all next time. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe.